Welcome everyone to the Knitting by the Sea podcast. My name is Lisa. I am Saratoga Knitting on Instagram and on Ravelry, and I welcome you to my home today. I live in Marblehead, Massachusetts, which is a little harbor town just north of Boston and just south of Salem, Massachusetts. The section of town that I live in is called Old Town. So this is the original section of town, and we are very, very lucky to live in a very, very old house. This house was originally built in 1750 as a warehouse, and it was transitioned into a residence in 1850. And so we have been actually living here for the last 2 years. We rented for 1 year, and then we had the amazing opportunity to purchase the home. So welcome. So today we'll do a few things. We're going to look at finished objects, of which I only have one today. And then we'll look at works in progress, which I have several. And I have some acquisitions, and I will talk about Rhinebeck this week, along with a little bit of chatter. And then I'm hoping to add in at the end some pictures, of course, by my husband, and also some pictures of our home. I've had some questions and people interested in seeing some of the different pieces of our old house. I'm going to try to do that at the end today. So let's get started. Finished objects. Well, I only have one, as I said, and it is my latest pair of socks. And these are the Weasley Homestead socks by Erica Luder. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I use the O-Loops yarn for this. So here they are. I'm really pleased with the way they came out. They're really beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful stitch pattern, really easy. This is a free pattern. I think I said a free pattern on Ravelry. And it's just really great. It really shows off the variegated yarn here. And I do have two. I did finish this pair right here. I actually knit these a little bit. I think I probably grabbed the wrong needle to do these. And so they're just a tiny bit big on me. But fortunately, Sophia has claimed them. So once I'm done with this today, these will be hers, and I'm really excited about this. These I knit for the Harry Potter knit along that O-Loops runs every year. So that's a knit along that runs from October, November, and December. So it's a 3-month knit along. This was one of our main projects for this month, and we have a main project, and then we have several extra credit projects, I guess we would call them. So you can really do lots of knitting things and get lots of points for your house, and we add them all up, and then houses will get prizes at the end. But it's just a lot of fun. I look forward to it every year. So this is my first completed project for the Harry Potter O-Loops knit along. So now that's all I got for finished objects. So let's move on to some works in progress. Works in progress. All right, I have a lot. I actually have a lot. The first one I'm going to show you, I showed you the last time. This is a pair, my first sock of the pair of Jemima socks that are done by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. And she's having a mini sock club. So I think we have 3 sock patterns that are going to be coming out, 3 or 4, maybe 3. The Jemima sock pattern is the first one, and here it is. Again, I really love this. I'm tending to do my socks this year. I'm doing the pattern on the front and then just leaving the back plain. I actually really like that. This is a skein of Legacy Fiber Arts that I picked up last year at Needlefish Yarns in Venice when I was there on vacation. Hi, ladies. And I'm just really loving this. So I have one completed, and I have the second one on the needles and ready. It's actually, I probably have about the toe. The interesting thing about this is that I'm actually trying, I usually do the Fish Lips Kiss heel on my socks because I really like the short row heel. But what I'm trying this time is an afterthought heel. So you'll see I don't have the heel yet. I have some waste yarn in here. So this will be interesting. I did this on another pair recently, and I actually really liked it. And so I thought I would try it again. So we'll see how it goes this time. But I'm really liking this this pattern. Again, this is I have a long commute into Boston in the morning, so this is one of the things I usually knit are socks on the bus. So I'm pretty pleased with this. I'm looking forward to getting them both finished. So what's next? Oh, next is my biggest project here, and that is the Bubbly sweater by Isabel Kramer. This I am making for my mother-in-law for Christmas. It's also going to be one of my big 3-month project for the Harry Potter knit along, so it gives me some impetus. But I really need to have it done by Christmas, and I think I will. This is really not going to be a problem. The bulk of the sweater is just knitting in the round stockinette, so it's really not a problem. But you're my friends here, so I'm going to show you all the details of the what's been happening with this sweater. It's actually really great. I am using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and it's a lovely turquoise color because my mother-in-law requested this lovely light turquoisey color. And the bubbly sweater is nice. It just has a little bit on the yoke here. You can put something on the arms, on the sleeves, and on the bottom, but I don't think so. I think I'm just going to leave that plain. I think having the pattern on the top will be enough for her. But I'm really super happy with this, and I love the color of this. So here it is. So I've already done all the yoke. It's a top-down sweater. I've done the yoke, and then I'm almost done with the body. I think I have to do 12 inches from the underarm, and I'm almost there. And then you do, I think it's actually a brioche rib. I didn't fully read the rest of the pattern, but I think it's actually a brioche rib down at the bottom, which will be kind of interesting. And then, of course, I have to do the 2 sleeves. But since it's only the beginning of November, this is going to be fine. I will easily have this finished by Christmas. Now, the issue with this sweater that I am not going to fix, and she would never know, and no one would ever know. Only a knitter who has seen this pattern would know this, but it's not an issue at all. So if you look at the pattern, oops, leave that there. If you look at the pattern on the front, it's called bubbly, so it's supposed to be all of these little bubbles like this here, this piece here. You notice the top doesn't quite look like that. Yep. When I started it, I made a mistake on the chart, but I made the same mistake right around, and I didn't even notice it until I took this to Rhinebeck. I really didn't notice that was there, and I pulled the pattern out to show someone. I'm like, it doesn't look quite right. But as I said, it looks perfectly fine. It looks like the bubbles are forming at the top, and then it goes down. But yeah, no one who's not a knitter, who isn't familiar with this, would think anything of that, and it will just be beautiful, and and that's absolutely fine. But I'm going to be honest here, and by the time I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I am not ripping that back. It is perfectly fine. So yeah, that's going to be fine. So this is a bubbly sweater. I'm really happy with it. It's really enjoyable to work with. I like the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes here in the United States because it's just really, it's a workhorse yarn. The price point is really good. So if you're making a large sweater like this, this is really nice. And this will be perfect for my mother-in-law. It's soft. It's not too scratchy. This is really going to be nice. And she's totally knit worthy, and she will wear this sweater. So I'm really happy with this. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying doing a sweater. I'm coming to find I like to have a sweater on the needle. So that will be something that I'm going to try to keep on doing. So that's my second work. It's my second work in progress. I have more. So let's see. My third work in progress is called the Stormy Sky Shawl, and it's by Life is Cozy on Ravelry. And this is going to be kind of a large wrap. I'm using fingering weight yarn on it. I think you probably could use DK weight or sport weight, and it would look very different. But it's really great. It's going to be this very long scarf. It starts out at the tip and then just gets bigger and bigger. And it has, it has some stockinette. I mean, it has garter ridges in it, and it has some dropped yarn overs, and then it has a little bit of lace, and that pattern just keeps on going, and you just add additional stitches at the end. So it will become very, very big. So it's an asymmetrical shawl, but it's really pretty. And I'm using this for one of my November main project on the Harry Potter knit along, because we have a yardage requirement on this one, so we have to use at least 400 yards, and I was kind of, and there's a theme to it as well. And so I was kind of like futzing around about what project I would use. It's hard to use socks because you don't always use 400 yards worth when you're making a pair of socks. Certainly not for me. I mean, I suppose if I was making them for my husband, maybe, but not for me. So yeah, I pulled this pattern up, and I really liked it, and I just thought it would be really great. This is O'Loop's yarn. Again, this is the Don't Call Me Nymphadora colorway. So here's O'Loop's. And it uses uses over 400 yards, so I'm going to be fine with this pattern. And it's funny to go from knitting socks on really tiny needles to knitting this, because I'm using I think these are size 10 needles that I picked up, but because this is meant to be really lacy, so working on fingering weight yarn on the larger needles, it's a whole different feeling. I always feel like the stitches are going to try to fall off on me, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's really easy because it's literally 3 different sections, and you just repeat them over and over, just adding additional stitches at the end. So each row gets longer as you go along, but it's not taxing on your brain or anything like that. But I think this is going to be really pretty. I may give this as a gift at Christmas. I'm not sure. I may keep it for myself, but this will be a really nice, light thing to throw on in the spring when it's just a little bit cool out still. So I'm really happy with this. So this is coming along. This will be finished by the end of November. And then what else am I working on? Oh, yes, and I have a new pattern that I'm actually test knitting for my friend Sarah Lozzi. Sarah Laz on Instagram and on Ravelry. She has come out with a pattern called Revealed Mitts, and I finished one. So this is a mitten. The pattern is not out yet. This actually is meant to be high contrast, and I just picked 2 yarns that they don't contrast very much, but that's okay. It was I'm test knitting them, and I think it's really going to look great. You may be able to see it more on the camera anyway. So there's a series of slipped stitches in a contrast color, and then I have used some variegated yarn that I had in my stash. I'm really pleased with these. These are really cute. They really came out nice, fit nicely, and I'm looking forward to getting the other one done. I have the second one on the needles. I think I literally did this in 2 evenings, so I have the second one on. It's a Saturday. We were watching a show on Netflix this morning, and I've already gotten most of it done. I have the stitches off for the thumb, and I'm almost going to be finished with this. I suspect I'll finish that this weekend, so it'd be really nice. I'll have a nice pair of mittens to do with. Yeah, so I'm super happy with that one as well. And then the last project is in my big bag, and I'm just going to show this to you again. I actually brought this with me as my Rhinebeck project because it's super simple. So this is the Bits and Bobs blanket by Kay Jones again of the Bakery Bears, and I just want to pull don't want to pull the needles out of this, but here it is. So it's getting longer. This will be just a large lap blanket, and you just basically use all of your scraps. So here it is. So I keep adding to it. The original Kay's pattern originally has you use one background color, so one color that remains the same throughout the entire blanket, and then you add just different scraps as you finish up. So you have kind of at least one kind of like a background color through the project. I decided not to do that because I have tons of scraps, and so I'm just kind of randomly grabbing scraps as I come to them and putting them in. But it's nice because you can see I at one point during the Ravelry weekend, we were visiting some people, and everybody was knitting, and the lady that I was talking to, I showed this to her. She wanted to know what it was, and what she said. She's like, "Now this is really nice because it shows what your palette is. So because it's scraps of projects that you've done over the years. It really shows, kind of gives you an idea of the colors that you like, that appeal to you." And it was like, that was really nice. I didn't really think of it that way, but I suppose any of these, cozy memory blankets are going to do that for you. But I thought that was really, really nice. I chose this pattern because I wanted to use up the scraps, as I said. And it's just it is a fisherman's rib. It looks like brioche, and it's really squishy and lovely, but it's not brioche. It could be brioche, but it's not. It's basically a fisherman's rib pattern, and I just love it. I don't really have to think about this. I can just pull it out, and it's just something that I can knit when I don't feel like looking at anything complex. And I'm going to have this lovely, lovely lap blanket, who either the cat or my husband will probably claim when it's finally done. But I really got a lot of work on this done, because when you you go to Rhinebeck at night, you're kind of sitting around with everybody knitting. So this was really perfect for me because I could talk, I could watch TV, I could do whatever I wanted, and this was really great. And it helps keep you warm now too as I'm going. But I'm really happy with that. The Harry Potter knit along swap that we are doing as part of the knit along is kind of a mini advent calendar swap, which is really fun. I love all the advent calendars that come out. I haven't invested in one before, but because I have so many scraps anyway, and really this is the only project that I would use those yarns with. But the idea of our swap was to put together a mini advent calendar ourselves. So basically, I've taken all of these different colors and wound up 20 grams of each, and we're putting those together, and I'll be sending that to my swap partner, and then I'll be getting some scraps, balls of yarn from her. So that'll be really interesting to see how the colors change, because now I'll be using someone else's palette in mixing in there as well. So that's going to be really, really, really nice and really really fun. I'm super happy with this. It goes fast. Literally, I have no deadline on this. I can really make it as long as I want. When I run out of yarn, do we ever run out of yarn? But it's just a lovely, lovely project. So that's the Bits and Bobs by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. And if you're looking for a project, I'm not a big crocheter. I don't like the little tiny mitered squares either. So this is really my kind of thing. I think it really fits my aesthetic, and I'm really pleased with it. And I like to pick it up because it's kind of mesmerizing when you're looking at the colors and choosing and changing them out randomly and seeing how they come together. So I'm very, very happy with that. So I think that's all of my works in progress. So now let's move on to some acquisitions, because I do have some to show you this week. Acquisitions. I have a few things to show you because I did go to Rhinebeck. Let's see. The first one I didn't actually get at Rhinebeck. I ordered online, and I just want to show it to you because it's so, so beautiful. This is from Barn Swallow Farm. It is Gotland wool from a single flock with natural colors. The Barn Swallow is in Topsham, Maine. And it is, I have 220 yards of this. It's just beautiful. The color is just silver. It's from the 2016 clip of Carrot. I love that. So isn't this, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. So I think this is it's actually pretty soft. It doesn't have a lot of, it doesn't have a really lot of high scratchiness factor at all, but I think this is going to be some type of beautiful hat. So I'm very, very happy with this. So when I get done with all of my Harry Potter projects, I'm going to be casting something on with this loveliness. And yeah, I just love working with these yarns. I go across the board. I'm certainly happy knitting sweaters and using Knit Picks yarn. Because that fits my budget, but every now and again I just love getting these single farm yarns. They're just so lovely and so special. So this is really beautiful. And then I'm going to show this again because I can't remember if I showed it the last time or not. Hey Brownberry on Mars on Instagram and on Ravelry. She and her daughter have a yarn dyeing business called Dynamix Yarns, and they're on Etsy. And they experiment with doing natural dyeing. And so she had an update a few weeks ago, maybe last month, and I was able to snag this beautiful skein of yarn. I haven't cast it on yet. I'm probably going to make some type of a shawl like this, little shawl to go around my neck, something along those lines. But it's just beautiful. It has all of these beautiful, beautiful shades. I'm trying to think if she says it. This is 100% Corriedale, and the color is Denim Days. And they really just do beautiful, beautiful work. I can't wait to open this up and see how the tones really come together. So again, this will be something a cast on in my future cast on. So I'm really happy with this purchase. So definitely check them out, Dynamix Yarns, and they are on Etsy. And then when I went to Rhinebeck, I didn't really buy a lot at Rhinebeck. I bought a couple of little things, and I got a couple of little things for my swap partner. And I didn't really get a lot of yarn there. I was looking for yarn, but I didn't get quite that much. But the second, I don't even think I really bought anything on Saturday. But on Sunday, we went both days. So on Sunday, we stopped by the Dancing Leaf Dye Works shop, and they, let's see if I can read it. So this is 373 yards, and it is just beautiful. It's their sock hop base, and look at this gray striped loveliness. This will probably become a pair of socks for me. My sister-in-law Tracy actually got a skein of this as well, but the skein she picked up has like little pops of red in it, which I really liked too. But these are going to be nice, because this will be really nice neutral socks for me to wear to work. Not that I don't wear the crazy colors either, but this will be a nice, really nice and soft. And this is 100% merino superwash, and it is just gorgeous. I just think all the tones in this just really sung to me when I saw this in their booth. So I'm looking forward to this. So you will see this on the needles as a pair of socks in the future. And then the last piece that I purchased at Rhinebeck is, of course, from Carol Foster of Foster Sheep Farm, which I feel is my local farm, because it is right outside of Saratoga, where I used to live. And Carol's a friend of ours. She has, this is Concordia 2018, a harmonious blend of wool, 50-50 Foster Farm Romney, and wool from Falkland Island sheep as well. So this is a nice little sport weight skein. I am drawn to these lovely shades of green. But this is really pretty too. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. I haven't decided on this, but this again had to come home with me as I saw it at Carol's booth on Saturday. So yeah, this was really super, super pretty. And then my lovely friend Patricia P. Fortune Knitography. She is a Texan by birth, and she lives in Norway now. And you can if you follow her, I'm sure you do, on Instagram. And she has a lovely farm in Norway, and she has now been able to bring 3 sheep to her farm, which she's been really working to do for a long, long time. Up until this point, they had been in a co-op, so there was a farm nearby where there were several sheep. Hers were included there, and it was just as a co-op. So they would come and they'd have times and they'd work at that farm and be able to keep their sheep there. But she finally got permission to bring them to her farm, and it's so lovely. If you haven't followed her, go over to her Instagram account, and it's just lovely. She is just done so much work to get these sheep there. She makes lovely, lovely sock blockers and mitten blockers from trees on her property that they have to fell each year to kind of cull it out and keep the foraging available. And she has just done so many wonderful things that she's been dreaming of, and this past 2 years has really brought it to true fruition. And I am lucky enough to we've met her a couple of times, and she's a delightful person. And this year I'm very lucky because she brought me some of the some sample bags of the fleece. Now these are not from her sheep, but these are from the co-op sheep that she had. But she brought me a couple bags, and just look at this lusciousness here. So you can see this great color. So I'm having to kind of flick these out in order to spin with them. They're very short staples, so it's a different kind of spinning for me. So I'm kind of working that through, but they fluff out beautifully. So I split it up. She had them like different colors. So there's kind of a dark blackish color, really dark gray, and then she had some lighter gray as well. So I split that up, and so I have the gray kind of separate from the darker. And this is how it fluffs up. And it goes from those little locks, and so I was able to fluff it up so that's all fluffy. It's all fluffy now. You can see that fluffy, lovely loveliness here. And I started to spin it. And I'm going to continue to spin it. I'm not quite sure what I would do with this. It's just enough to really kind of sample. So I'm not quite sure what will happen with this. Whether I just knit up a couple of samples. Who knows what I'll do with this. But I'm just enjoying the beautiful yarn here. So this, enjoying the fiber and enjoying the yarn, and you can just see, so it's lumpy and bumpy. It's not smooth, because you just can't do that with this this particular yarn, but the colors are amazing, and I'm just so pleased and so touched that she thought of me and gave me some of this lovely yarn from Norway, lovely fiber from Norway to spin up. It's just so special, so special. So yeah, so this is another process that I'm kind of working on. I'm thinking I may do up the gray and then on another bobbin do up the black and kind of apply them together. I may not, though. I may just do the gray and then just continue on with that black. I'm not sure, because I don't know how much I'll get with it. But again, it's just really a lovely way to sample different fiber, and it will always remind me of my friend Patricia. So that's this is very special. I'm very happy about this. So those, I think. Oh, I know I have one more actually. I wanted to show this as well to you. This is great. This is from Chickenwood Studio. This is my friend Lori, again, who lives near Saratoga, and she does soaps, but she also does these lovely lotion bars, and these are fantastic. I just love this. So here it is. It's a lotion bar. So you basically use this, take it out, warm it up in your hand a little bit, and then just rub it around as a moisturizer on your hand. This is perfect. And I just love the scents on this. This one it has organic refined coconut oil, beeswax, shea butter, and essential oils. And I just love the smells of this. Sometimes you find these, or I do, that the fragrance is just too strong for me. I'm also not a big fan of eucalyptus, and a lot of times something will come along that's really just kind of eucalyptus in your face, and it's just not my favorite. This is lovely. I use this at night. I keep this by my bedside, and I just use it to really to just soften up my hands, because it gets dry around here in the wintertime. But just softening these up, and then it's just a lovely fragrance to fall asleep to. So Lori is, as I said, Chickenwood Farms, and she is on. She has a shop on Etsy. So if you have a chance and you're looking for something like this, check it out, because this is, I really highly recommend it. All right, let's move on to some chatter about Rhinebeck and happenings. Rhinebeck. I'm still kind of high on the fumes from Rhinebeck. It really is a very special festival. If you ever have the chance to go, definitely try to do it. I mean, certainly if you have the chance to go to any type of fiber festival, but Rhinebeck is very special. It's just a special time of the year, and the weather is usually pretty good, and the trees are just beautiful. This year was nice. Last year was way too hot, but the Saturday this year was absolutely beautiful. But our Rhinebeck adventure started the day before, actually 2 days before. Sophia and I drove over on Thursday, and we stay with my parents when we go there, and we met up with my sister-in-law Tracy, and then Lori from Chickenwood Farm invited several of us out to her farm that afternoon, and Patricia was there from Knitography, and they were just some lovely ladies there, and we had some lovely tea and food and sat around knitting and got to look at the chickens on the farm, and we took a walk around and looked at the gardens, and it was just an absolutely lovely afternoon. Lori's daughter Corinne knows Sophia through mutual friends, so that's always fun. So they got to catch up as well. It was a lovely afternoon, and I hope that we're able to do it again next year. And once we had that, we Sophie and I, as I said, stayed with my parents. We took my dad out to dinner. So that's always fun. And then we headed down on Friday, and we stayed in this lovely home in Saugerties. Last year we were also in Saugerties, but we were kind of in a bigger farmhouse. It was just a little, not too far from where we stayed this time, but it was different. It was a little bigger place. This was a little bit smaller, but it was lovely. It was right off the main road. Absolutely perfect. It was just perfect. So we had We had Sophia, myself, my sister-in-law Tracy. We had Emma and Sarah, Tracy, Sophia's friends from Vermont, and Emma's mom Elaine. And so it was a perfect little house. And we made a conscious decision this year not to try to go to India Untangled. I know I think you had to pay for India Untangled. I know there were just some issues with that. And it was so crowded last year, and we just didn't really, everybody was we knew after last year that we were just going to be tired and ready to eat and kind of collapse. So we ended up getting a bunch of cold cuts, which was a perfect night, perfect meal. Emma made this amazingly delicious potato pie, which was really great. So we had some lovely wine and our cold cuts and chips and potato pie, and it was just fantastic. And the was it Powerball? I think it was Powerball. There was a huge Powerball that night. So we actually all went out and bought some lottery tickets, but we decided to watch Waking the Divine, because that's one of my most favorite movies ever. If you've never seen it, stop this, go out and watch it. Watch it tonight if you've never watched Waking the Divine. It's about a little town. It's about this tiny little town, and there's lottery winnings, and it's just crazy. It's one of those British-made films that is just, you will be laughing the entire time that you are watching it. The acting is phenomenal, and the story is just wonderful. And literally, we watch that film at least once a year. And it's probably, I don't even know when it was made, but it was made, maybe even 20 years old, but it's fantastic movie. And since had that lottery issue, and it was great, it was a perfect choice. And everyone except for Sophia's friend Emma had seen it before. So it was really fun to watch her reaction to the movie. To have as a newbie, it was a lot of fun. So that was really great. And then the next day we got up and went into Rhinebeck, and the weather was actually kind of perfect this year. I think it was not too hot. The sun kind of came out and went in again, came out and went in again. So we really just spent the day walking around, seeing people, running into old friends, and just enjoying ourselves. I really think that for me, the first day of Rhinebeck is about the people. And because we've been going for so long, before we knew any, Tracy and I used to go back in the old days, back before we really knew anybody else. And now that we just know so many people, and doing the podcast and being on Ravelry, it just really has opened up our world of friends and acquaintances, in the knitting community, which is really just fantastic. Which is really why I do this. And it was just a lovely day of catching up with people and seeing them, and of course just seeing all the knitwear, because there were it's everywhere. Everybody was wearing something. The big thing this year was the Tecumseh sweater. There we saw, I think, every possible color combination for that sweater that you could come up with was at Rhinebeck this year, and that's really the big garment piece that I remember so many people having. It hasn't been it's not a pattern that speaks to me in particular, but we did see one color combination that was really pretty. It was this really dark maroon color, and I think it was almost like a dark blue or a really dark brown. It was very, very nice. It was really understated and just really, really beautiful. We caught up with so many people. Of course we walked around and we had our lunch, and then we went to the podcaster meetup, which is a blast. I know that it can be overwhelming for people because there's just so many people. And for those of us that have been there enough, we know people, so we're like, it's so nice to see you. But I can certainly see that it can be overwhelming for someone who has never been before. But don't let that stop you. Please don't let that stop you at all. You're going to see familiar faces that you know from the podcasting. And we love to meet viewers, people that we, people that that know us, and it's such a wonderful experience. It's really why, certainly why I do it. I love to have people come up and say, oh my gosh, I know this and I know that, and I watched you making this particular pattern, and it was really helpful, and keep on doing it. And so it really makes a fun make something fun to do. Yeah, and it's just, and so the weather was perfect this year. So we really enjoyed that, but it's exhausting. It's definitely exhausting. And we hung out for a little while after that, and then we ended up going back and back to our house. And on the second night, we had another delicious meal. We had a lasagna that Sarah had made, and we had some more delicious wine. And that night, we thought we would watch the Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Society movie. I think we made it maybe halfway through that movie before we were all just like, nope, we got to go to bed. We have to go to bed. We're so tired, which was crazy. But, and that was fine too. And then on Sunday, we got up and closed up the house and went over again. Sunday was nice because Sunday was when actually I made some purchases. It's such a much more relaxed day. You can actually get into some of the booths, and on Saturday there's really this kind of frenzy in the air. People are trying to get their things, and there's the long line for Miss Babs and Jenny the Potter, and people are just kind of like crazed, and they're just buying and getting things. And where Sunday is, everybody's just kind of like, whew, take a big breath and just relax and enjoy the day and walk around, which is what we did. And then Sophie and I headed out right from there, and we came back and just collapsed. Had to go to work the next day. It was worse for Sophia because I'm actually, I think I mentioned it before, but we're experimenting with being able to work at home. So I work at home every Monday, which is really nice. And so for me, that was great. I didn't have to get up and get the bus on Monday morning. I could sleep in a little bit and then just get onto the computer for my regular start time. So that worked out really, really well. We have, of course, here in the United States, our Thanksgiving is coming up. We will be going to my in-laws for that right here in Marblehead. My mother-in-law usually handles the Thanksgiving feast, so to speak. So that will be nice. We're looking forward to that. We each have a few days off for that. And then Christmas dinner will be at our house this year. So that's going to be fun too. And we will be planning to make the pudding from one of the recipes from the Pudding Club, the Bakery Bears Pudding Club. That's our favorite. It's the boiled pudding, and it's unbelievably delicious, absolutely delicious with the golden syrup. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm just telling you, look that up because it is phenomenal. You steam it. It's a steamed pudding, and you put this golden syrup in it. It is really lovely. And then you make a vanilla sauce to go over it. Oh my gosh. It's like my husband's favorite thing ever now. He's like, am I going to have that again sometime? And Sophia like, yes, we're going to make two of them for Christmas dinner. That will be our Christmas pudding. This year will be boiled pudding with golden sauce. Oh my gosh, golden syrup. Ooh, that is, it's one of our favorites. I'm just telling you. Check it out if you have a chance. Yep. So we're looking forward to that. Sophia and I are actually going to be going over to Michael's a craft store later on today because we're thinking about getting our craft on for Christmas. A lot of our Christmas stuff was kind of, we had some garland and stuff, but it was kind of getting old and ratty. And so when we finally moved in here, I kind of got rid of a lot of that stuff because it was just kind of, it just really wasn't useful anymore. And it was one of those, you're just hanging onto it for no particular reason. So we have a lovely mantelpiece on the fireplace downstairs. So we really thought we would, we'd see what we could do this year, see what we can find. So we're going to go take a look at that. I can't believe I'm talking about Christmas already. I know it was just Halloween, but I think I'm really ready for it. We got the notice from my school that we actually have the whole week off again between Christmas and New Year's, actually before Christmas Eve. It's really wonderful. It's a wonderful benefit that they're giving. So that's actually very, 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 very nice. The yacht club here will be having some, I think they're having what are they calling it? They're calling it an eggnog gala. I think Sophie and I will probably check that one out. My poor husband's like, oh my gosh, I will get totally sick. And I'm like, well, we're not going to drink all night, but I think we're going to go over for that. They have a holiday craft fair, which we're going to go to next weekend. which will be really nice. I'll be interested to see what kinds of things that they have there. I think it's more, it's going to be a lot of photography and paintings and things like that. But it'll be a fun evening to pop over. They had a 5-course wine dinner that we went to last week, that was really nice. And again, you'll see in the pictures, but literally the yacht club is in our backyard. Our house is just on the edge of the parking lot for the yacht club. So to be able to go to these things and then just walk home is really spectacular. So we really had a lot of fun with that. We have a couple of other dinner outings that we're planning for the Christmas season. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, and I think that's probably it for today. As I said, I'm going to try to take some pictures. So I'm going to add the pictures on that my husband's been taking. He's an amateur photographer, and he just takes some really beautiful pictures of the Marblehead area here. So I'll add those at the end, and then I'm going to add in some pictures of our house, so you can get a little feel for some of the different the different little components of this house. It's very small. It's not very big at all. But there's a lot of fun little details that are here. And then tomorrow, an internet friend of mine, Kathy, is actually coming to town. She's here visiting. She's here visiting her son, who lives just west of Boston. So she and her husband, they went up to Vermont for the weekend. They went to visit Wing and a Prayer Farm, Tammy, and then they're going to be coming to Marblehead tomorrow. So we're going to have some coffee, and I'm going to show them around. I'm really excited about that as well. We've been friends on Instagram for a while, but we have never met in real life. So I'm really looking forward. I'm looking forward to that. So I think that'll be it for now. So enjoy, and remember, it's just knitting. Bye.